So, spend money. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace. Alright, I'm kidding. Well, half kidding. What is up, guys? Clinter here, and as you can see, I've reached a total power level of 777,777,943, which I believe is one of the highest around. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys what I did to get here and giving you any tips to increase your own total power level on Dragon Ball Legends. Now, quick disclaimer, your total power level doesn't really indicate how good you are at PvP or how good your best team is at PvP. It's more so just an aesthetic thing to look at, keep track of how your character box is progressing as you play the game. And the second disclaimer is that this is going to be just a basic guide, not very in-depth, but I don't want to just ramble for an hour. So without further ado, let's get into this. So the number one thing you can do to increase your power level is going to be unlocking new characters and then training them and soul boosting them. Now, as you unlock new characters, whether it's from summons or in-game as free-to-play units, what you want to do is just go to the training section here. And as you can see, there's a bunch of options. You can use these bells. Now, you can get these bells in exchange shops from events and other scenarios, but if you're out of all these bells and training items, you can also go to the bonus battle super experience to train up your units. So once your units are trained up to level 5000, the next thing you want to do is go back to your character list, character upgrade, and soul boost them. Now, as you can see, all my units are soul boosted, and it might take a good minute to get it done, but it's the biggest factor when it comes to your power level. And of course, for Zenkai units, you want to soul boost them to 1400%. So, of course, that requires Zenkai souls. Zenkai souls are a bit more difficult to stock up on, but the best way to get them is with soul exchange medals, which you can exchange for in the standard events. Now, you will need to get these Zenkai units to Z7 before you can 1400% them, and that would require 7000 awakening power. If you're a moderate to heavy spender on the game, you could do the 20 Chrono Crystal daily summons so that eventually over time you can build up your Zenkai box. If not, there's of course the other option in the exchange shop, which is the Ultra Spacetime Rush shop. As you can see, there's Awakening Z power for pretty much all the Zenkai units, or I think there's a slight delay between the newer ones and the ones in the shop. But you can go this route, but there's one thing to consider. This way you will have less Ultra Spacetime Rush medals to spend on rolling for Awakened equipment. And Awakened equipment can make a big difference in PvP, so that's something to consider. Alright, so next up is limit breaking. Now, limit breaking is the process of getting more Z power on your units, whether that's through the summons or through free-to-play events to get the free-to-play characters. Now, I do indulge in the secret Chrono Crystal event in the shop quite a bit, but if you're a free-to-play player, hopefully you're only summoning on high-value banners, and kind of staying away from the ultra banners. They can be really unforgiving, and unless you really like the unit and they're by far, the number one unit in the game, it's not really worth it for, non-spenders. And when it comes to Z-powering, there's one key point to mention. The biggest stat boost that a unit gets is at 9 stars. So what I do is I try to get the newer units to 9 stars before giving any of my other units more Z power. And I can just show you that with my EX collection. Switch it to limit break. Where is it? Over there, yeah. And just scroll all the way down. And as you can see, I have got all the EX units to 9 stars before really filling them up on more Z power. Now, this is not only beneficial for your total power level, but also in Tournament of Power. If you care for that mode, the optimal units change each season, and you might need to use one of these many units. Now, another disclaimer here, this is by far not optimal for PvP. When you take your units into PvP, you want them at the highest stars possible, and so you want to focus your Z power in on that. So, just keep that in mind when it comes to this aspect. Alright, so now that we've covered limit breaking, we of course must cover other methods to get Z power to limit break our units. So of course, as I mentioned, you can summon and get Z power, or you can play events to get Z power for free to play units, but there are definitely some other methods that can help you out a lot. So we gotta go to the exchange shop real quick and just scroll down. Of course, the limit break banner is a fairly good value banner to get Z power on, but what I'm going for is this. This is the co-op exchange shop. And if you scroll all the way down, I've already kind of exchanged for it, but there is multi Z power 100 for 4 stars and above, I believe. And that is one of the bigger sources of Z power if you're trying to star up your units. One thing to consider here is that the co-op shop also houses art scores and seed medals, which I'll get to in the next part of the video, but you ideally want to exchange for those before starting to exchange for the Z power. It's just kind of more worth it in a sense. The other ways to get Z power, some of the better ones, is the Sparking Medal shop. Ideally, you want to exchange for extreme Z power there because you get 200 extreme versus only 100 on the Sparking. And also the guild shop. You ideally want to join a strong guild like Prosper, and maybe just win some battles and get those tokens so you can exchange for a bunch of Z power there as well. And if we go back real quick, you got to keep a track of these events. Some of them give Z power, LF Z power perhaps, and yeah, you can use them to kind of build up your units more. Another consistent way is the Legends Weekend. You always want to save up for the 100 Legends Limit Sparking power there. And yeah, that's pretty much the main sources of Z power to get. Alright, so last but not least is arts boosting. Now, arts boosting is a fairly newer mechanic that was added to the game. However, it's very important and can improve your performance not only in PvP but also PvE, as well as contribute to that power level. So all you got to do is go to the character upgrade and go to arts boost. Here you can see all the units, and I'll just switch over to grade real quick. And there you can see you have 3 sets of grades for your strike, blast, and defenses. And if I go to the bottom, you can see all the units I have at 999. And let's scroll back up. So with arts boosting, you want to ideally boost the units you're taking into PvP all to 99 first before moving on to other units. And while I do that primarily, as you can see with units like Purple Jiren, Pan, or Rev UI, where I really value their defensive utility more so than offense, I try to get their defense stat to 99 first. And that contributes more than the offensive stats to your power level. So it kind of works both ways, both for PvP as well as the total power level. Now, of course, you're going to need materials to continue arts boosting all your units, and that would be your seed exchange medals, your seed cores or arts cores, and your art seeds. Now, if you go to your exchange shop again, a bunch of the events will have exchanges for your arts boosting materials, and even shops like the Rare Metal shop, although I've already exchanged it out for the month, would have exchanges for these materials. You can also obviously get it with your daily login, and yeah, even the weekend medals I believe give some, but you can have a look at all that in detail info in the game news. Now, one quick tip I'd like to give here is that I would recommend not using your seed exchange medals for arts cores. You want to ideally save it for arts seeds, and I found that this works better when it comes to especially 99 arts boosting certain units. So that pretty much wraps the arts boost section up too. Okay guys, so that concludes this brief guide. Again, there's a lot of details that I skipped over or didn't mention, but this was mainly just to highlight the different actions that I may have taken compared to some of you, which allowed me to get to this power level. And that's all the video was really about. It was also a cool power level to reach, which is why I made this in the first place. And I just have to mention, playing this game, having played the game for over 5 years, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and it's supposed to be an enjoyable marathon, of course. Even taking actions like getting a single unit to level 5000 or maxing them on the soul boost, is a step in the right direction, which progresses your own account. So at the end of the day, all you should be worried is whether you're having fun with the game and, making small steps in the right direction. So just wanted to end it on a bit of a positive note. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.